Wow, Cathie Wood, CEO and CIO of whims, who is one of the most bullish Bitcoin analysts in Wall Street. She and her team member Yasino Mandra published many articles and white papers about Bitcoin and blockchain technology, which explain the principle and value of Bitcoin. They expect the price of Bitcoin will reach 160,000 US dollars in the year of 2025. Besides, she and her team member reiterate whims view that it will trade to 500,000 US dollars in the long term. whims 500,000 US dollar Bitcoin price target is predicated on the scenario where all the institutional asset managers allocate upwards of 5% of their portfolios into cryptocurrencies. Hi, Cathie Wood. Staying in crypto a bit here. Coinbase is another name that you hold as well, and some remarks discussed by John Paulson. I think a lot of people are in earnest to speak in the crypto community, saying that he views it as crypto is worthless. What do investors like who criticize crypto? What don't they understand?
John Paulson he made an incredible call during the mortgage crisis. He has been a gold bug, I would say, for most of his career, and many investors who have spent their careers focused on gold cannot understand the digital concept associated with gold. What we think he's missing is this is much more than just a store of value or digital gold. Bitcoin in particular is a new global monetary system. It's a rules-based monetary policy, which is completely decentralized and therefore is not subject to the whims of policymakers. In fact, it's a hedge against the whims of policymakers, especially in emerging markets. And as far as other crypto currencies, Ether being the biggest, we're seeing the DeFi movement, decentralized finance. Again, Chairman Gensler is going to take a close look at it, which I think will be good. Let's just get the regulators on board, because at the end of the day, what we think decentralized finance is doing is taking the friction out of a lot of financial services and taking a lot of the middlemen out of financial services. So that is also a good thing. Other than that, there's some I don't know how closely John Paulson and some of the other naysayers have looked at it, but I know there have been conversions. Ray Dalio has been a conversion, Stanley Druckenmiller, and these are very thoughtful investors who at one point thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme, and in some cases, and have been converted. And I think one of the reasons they have been converted is when you think about what blockchain technology is doing, it is putting into place via the internet the payments ecosystem that was not put in place in the early days of the internet because it was never conceived with commerce in mind. It was for defense departments and intelligence. It was for academics. It was for information exchange, not commerce. When you fill in the picture with blockchain technology, all you're doing is saying, yes, there's a more efficient way of doing commerce. We just didn't know commerce was going to be a part of the internet in the 80s and early 90s.
Well, now a lot of crypto bulls, Cathie, they will say that the regulation is good for crypto. Are you in that camp?
I think KYC, AML, so know your customer, anti-money laundering is good for the ecosystem. I do believe that is true. I think what's confusing from a regulatory point of view is the different definitions of crypto depending on the regulator. So the SEC, in terms of Bitcoin, has described it as not a security. The IRS says it's property. The CFTC says it's more like a commodity. And I think if regulators get together and agree on what exactly these cryptocurrencies are, how to define them, that will be a good thing. Just certainty will be a good thing for this ecosystem.
Thank you very much, Cathie. Have a great day. Bye.
See you, Brian. Thank you. Happy Labor Day weekend. Bye.
As Cathie would just say that Bitcoin, which is a new asset type and could be the hedge of the reins of the policymaker. So how to understand a words, what is the hedge of the reins of the policymaker? Let's explain that the concept of the ring, which the hedge of the reins of the policymaker. If you want to understand her words, let's talk about what is hedge. Hedge in the stock market, hedging is a way to get portfolio protection, and protection is often just as important as portfolio appreciation. Hedging is a risk management strategy employed to offset losses in investment by taking an upside position in related assets. The reduction in risk provided by hedging also typically results in reduction in potential profits. Hedging strategy typically involve derivatives such as auction and future contracts. Well, so let's take an example of hedging. Hedging is somewhat analogous to taking out an insurance policy. If you own a home in a flood-prone area, you will want to protect the assets from the risk of flooding to hedge it. In other words, by taking out a flood insurance, in this example, you cannot prevent a flood. You can plan ahead of time to mitigate the danger in the event that a flood occurs. In the investment world, hedging works in the same way. Investor and money managers use hedging tactics to reduce and control the exposures to risk. In order to appropriately hedge in the investment world, one must use various instruments in strategy factors to offset the risk of adverse price movement in the market. The best way to do this is to make another investment in the target and controlled way. Of course, the parallel with the insurance example are limited. In the case of flood insurance, the policyholder will be completely compensated for a loss, but had less deductible. In the investment space, hedging is both more complex and an imperfect science. And let's take another example. For example, if a multi buys 100 shares of stock at $10 per share, he may hedge his investment by buying an American put option with a strike price of $8 expiring in 1 year. The auction gives Multi the right to sell 100 shares of stock for $8 anytime in the next year. Let's assume he pays $1 for the options, or $100 in premium. If 1 year later stock is trading at $12, Multi will not exercise the options and will be out $100. But he is unlikely to fact, although since his unrealized gain is $100, which includes the price of the put. If the stock is trading at $0, on the other hand, Multi will exercise the put option and sell his shares for $8. For a loss of $300, which includes the price of put. Without the option, he stands to lose his entire investment. So you may understand what is hedge. So what is the whims of the policymaker? Let's take a very typical example of Zimbabwe dollar. As you may know that during last decade, 2001 and to 2008, the Zimbabwe dollar experienced a hyperinflation rate in period. The Zimbabwe dollar was raised crazily. The exchange rate is raised crazily at that time. So what the government did to let the Zimbabwe to experience such a crazy period? Let's look at the PowerPoint. In 1978, the Zimbabwe government pegged the Zimbabwe currency to the US dollar. In 1980, the Zimbabwe government pegged the Zimbabwe dollar to a basket of currencies. The French franc, the German mark, and the South African rand, the Swiss franc, the British pound, and the US dollar. From August 1983 to December 1993, the Zimbabwe government used a flexible basket policy and a dual exchange rate policy, using the Zimbabwe currency to impose a 20% tax on certain foreign exchange. On July 1st, 1994, the Zimbabwe dollar used a dual exchange rate. The Zimbabwe dollar depreciated by 17%. On March 1st, 1999, the official exchange rate of Zimbabwe dollar was fixed at 38 Zimbabwe dollars per US dollar. The black market reappeared in December 1999. On August 1st, 2006, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe issued new Zimbabwe dollar equal to 1,000 old Zimbabwe dollars. The official exchange rate is set to 250 Zimbabwe dollar to $1 US. The black market exchange rate has raised sharply to over 600 Zimbabwe dollar to $1 US. On October 1st, 2008, electronic bank transfer was temporarily cancelled. In April 12, 2009, Zimbabwe government decided to temporarily suspend the Zimbabwe dollar. So it demonstrates a very typical example to show how a sovereign government can use its power to destroy a sovereign currency, to destroy a country's monetary system. It is crazy. So how to prevent that? Yes, it's just Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be the hedge of this kind of currency, or be this kind of money. As you can see on the table, yes, Bitcoin can be the hedge of this kind of money, or you can say how Bitcoin can be the hedge of the whims of the policymaker. Let's talk about it. Here we list three types of money: gold, US dollar, and crypto, mainly Bitcoin. Let's look at the trace of the money. The trace of the money include fungible, which is also said as interchangeable, non-consumable, portability, durable, highly divisible, secure, easily transactable, scarce, sovereign, decentralized, smart. Those features is a ruler to measure the trace of the money. Let's make a comparison between US dollar and Bitcoin first. As you can see on the table, the the left side column, I shows 7 trays of money, which include durable, highly divisible, secure, scared, solid, decentralized, smart. And US dollar is centralized. The government issued dollar. It is very easy to understand. And Bitcoin, which is the money that created under blockchain technology, which is fully decentralized. And US dollar, which is not, you cannot predict its supply, and the central government of US can control the supply of US dollar. Especially you can see the crisis during COVID-19, the US dollar depreciations a lot, but the volume of Bitcoin, or the depreciation volume of Bitcoin is controlled, is fixed. We cannot have more than 21 million Bitcoins. The number is fixed, so it's predictable supply. So, and of course, US dollar is mainly a paper dollar. It's used by paper, and Bitcoin is a text message under big blockchain network. And why US dollar is not secure as Bitcoin? Because US dollar is released by a central government of US. Country can change, but Bitcoin, which is under blockchain network, which is controlled and monitored and maintained by the blockchain user, which means everyone on the blockchain. And if you want to change the information in the blockchain, you want to change the transactions information, you must admit by at least 50% of the user in the blockchain network, which means that it is almost impossible to change the transaction record in the blockchain. So crypto is highly secure. Security is highly secured currency. Let's look at the second comparison. The comparison between gold and Bitcoin. And gold, which is resources that the gold miner mined on our land. Bitcoin, and it is not a centralized product. You can control the volume of gold, but in crypto, which is a rule-based monetary system, and the number of crypto is fixed. Nobody can change the number of Bitcoin. It is a fixed number. But gold can be changed the volume. You can mine more and more gold, but you cannot mine more and more Bitcoin. It is very easy to understand. And gold, which is not easily transactable currency, and almost no shop on the street willing to accept gold as a payment method. But Bitcoin is different, and Bitcoin can accept by many shops in the future, I think. But unlike gold, you can pay by Bitcoin instantly, globally, through the internet. It is crazy, but you can't pay by gold through the internet, pay by nobody. Gold is a physical product, a physical stuff, but crypto is is things on the internet. It's on the internet. Yeah. So it's very different things. Yeah. So you may know that why Bitcoin can be the hedge of this kind of currency, and it means that it can be hedge of the brains of the policymaker. I'm so happy that you watch the end of my video, and it is my first YouTube video about investment. I'm so happy that you continue to the end. Yeah, here's you can see the contact information of me, if you want to talk about any things about investment, Bitcoin, Tesla, you can contact me. Yeah, I am very willing to talk with you as well. I'm so happy if you can understand that what I say today, the concept of hedge, the concept of the policymaker, and the concept of the whims of the policymaker, and the talks that I just discussed with Cathie Wood. And it's my great pleasure, and see you next time.